Let's make it hot. Let's make it steamy. Wet your imagination with Rush Wavy. It's all about wet fiction.
Welcome to Wet Fiction. I'm your girl Rush Wavy, and this is a podcast that's all about enticing, thrilling, exotic stories, whether from Wattpad or beyond. We're going to be reading some of the most captivating stories, and I'm here to push the boundaries. Let's have some fun. With that being said, let's get into the book review. Now, I do hope that my fans aren't disturbing you guys. I'm trying my best to make this environment as quiet as possible. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. This is my first launch of this podcast. This is my first episode. I hope you guys really enjoy this. All right, let's get into it. The book that we're going to be reviewing today is called She Love Badman. Now, you guys know I have my backup phone out because your girl got notes. Okay, let's go. So I'm going to be reviewing the first 3 chapters of this book. The book is called She Love Badman, and it has a total of 78 chapters, and it's written by Abby44 underscore. So Abby424 underscore. That is who the author is for this book. So at the end of the review, I'll be giving my opinion, my feedback, my recommendation, things that I noticed throughout the book. And you guys can let me know how you guys feel about it in the comment section as well. And also, I want to say that this book is based in Jamaica, if you can't tell already. So back to the story. Right, the book starts off with this girl. Her name is Summer. Summer is from country. She come from rural Jamaica, a bush Summer come from. So she don't really know town or uptown or anything like that. She decides to move to Spanish Town. Of all the places that Summer could have moved, she decides to move to Spanish Town. Summer is from country. She not really used to Kingston life, and so she's in transit moving to Spanish Town at this time with her mom. And so on her way up, the movers in the van, in the truck, wherever, they're having a conversation, and the conversation is centered around gangs. And they're like, yeah man, the one clan gang, they're talking about the rivalries that they have had, their enemies and how you operate and whatever. And in Summer's mind, she's like, that don't make no sense. Like, I don't care about no done. To hell with that. Like them just cruff. She just thinks that about dance. Like she didn't care much for it, right? So she moves. Her mom is there helping her to move. They're unpacking and everything, and they're carrying everything into the house, and they finally finish after some time. And her mom is like, yo, Summer, go down the road, go buy 2 juice, because when they got to Spanish Town, it's really hot. If you know Spanish Town, so Spanish Town get hot enough that most times it's really, really hot. So her mom looks to her and say, yo, Summer, go on down the road, go buy 2 juice. Bear in mind that they've just moved to this area, so Summer remembers a shop the outer road, but she's not too sure, exactly where. Anyways, she comes out of the house. She's wearing an orange hoodie. I want you guys to know she's wearing a orange hoodie. And so while she's walking to the shop, there's this older lady who passes her in a shorts and a green top and a cigarette in her hand. She's smoking, and she's like, you have on the wrong color browning. And someone up here in her mind, someone just say good afternoon, and keeps walking. And she's like, that woman is not too big for have on the shorts. They're like, well, a big woman like you have on shorts, I go, miss, take it off and go home. She never really paid no mind. So she walks to the shop. She gets there. She gets inside, and she's about to order 2 orange juice. There are other persons in the shop, right? And they're noticing her. Everybody is just looking. Nobody not talk. Pure silence. If a pin did drop, you could have hear it. And she proceeds to order the 2 juice. And a guy, we'll call him Scarface. His name is Scarface. That's what we're going to call him. That's his alias, right? So they're in the bar, and he comes over to someone. He's like, orange jacket, orange juice. A power, you say? You have PNB? So Summer not taking note to it. She not pay him no mind. She not answer him. She's just waiting on the shopkeeper to bring her juice come, because that's all she care about. So he's like, matter of fact, Who you? And by the time him supposed to finish interrogator, a bag of car roll up, beer Mark X, beer Range Rover, beer BMW, beer bad car, beer Benz pull up, and everybody start run out and I said the done reach, the done reach, the done reach. So the shopkeeper hurry up and serve summer. Everybody roll out at the bar, everybody start walk with the done them go down in other community, right? Um, so she collects her juice and then she starts walking with them. She's walking behind them really. So she's on her way back home. Now she reach home, and as she approach her home, she see her mother. I talk to this lady at the gate. Bear in mind again, them just move. So our mother fear talk to somebody because our mother not supposed to know nobody. That's so. You understand? And no Jamaican mothers already. Them a go talk. Them a go make friend. Them a go know Miss Patsy from down the road. Everybody. So she went back home. She saw her mom. She come in. She said Evelyn. She walked back in, put on the juice, and like she in there wait for a good 10 minutes because she thinks her mother gonna wrap up the conversation sometime soon. But no, some of mother out there chat out. Some of mother just a chat, she just a chat, she just a chat, she just a chat, she just a chat. The whole time some are sitting in the she said, no man, you know, I don't know. So you know that style what you do when you want a parent's attention, but you don't really want to make it too obvious. So she come outside and like she a wait for she see her, she not see her. So she kinda just clear her throat a little bit. Her mother turn around and hear the eye. You know the eye when I talk about, like the eye that your parents give you when you must behave yourself or you know what you're gonna get later. Right? So she goes back inside. She's waiting. She takes off her her orange jacket. Sorry, she takes off her orange jacket, and underneath it she has on a light green merino, right? And so she comes back outside, and the entourage was passing at this time. So the entourage with the done them and everybody them a walk past the yard at this time. And so Scarface is in the entourage and he's passing and him say, oh, you take off your ugly, you take off your drunker jacket. Scarface say, hey, you take off your drunker jacket. She not pay him no mind. So the neighbor says she knew, so she not understand. So in someone's mind, she's internalizing that as people are trying to make a decision for her. She feels marginalized and she don't want to feel away there. She feels offended by the fact that the neighbor is answering on her behalf because like, what you mean? Me not understand. Me, I'm my own big man. You understand? So before he walks off, he says, Dan say all of the young people them for come at the party tonight. And you know, that was that. And then he walks off. So in someone's mind, once she heard that, she's saying to herself, she know if your factor should not go because her mom doesn't allow her to go anywhere really, and she has only been to one party in her entire life, and that was a 5-year-old birthday party. Imagine you're a big woman, and the only party you've been to your entire life was a 5-year-old birthday party. That's crazy. So the conversation wrap up with the neighbor and the mother turns around and said to Summer, say, you're not get ready. You're not get ready for the party. Summer is of course shocked because she's not used to this, and it's almost as though her mom didn't have a choice but to allow her to go, really. Because I guess based on the conversation, I'm just assuming, based on the dialogue with the neighbor, she's just saying, you know what, the best option to do at this time is to allow her to go so that we're not in a no issue with a don or no gang or nothing like that, right? So she gets ready and she's in the house. And that's chapter one. So that's the culmination of chapter one. One thing I had to say about chapter one was first, right off the bat, after reading chapter one, I really appreciated the fact that the author had a patois dictionary, because this book is written in patois, a lot of Jamaican Creole is in there, and so she broke it down at the end of each chapter. She has a heading called patois dictionary, and so she breaks it down so for persons who are not Jamaican or who doesn't understand the language to comprehend the story better, and I really appreciated that, so I made note of it. And another thing that I thought about after reading chapter one was also, you remember initially when she was on en route to Spanish Town, and she was saying really she's not interested in gangs, she don't really think that makes sense, and really she just think them for go church and repent because them don't make no sense. I think when I got to the latter part of chapter one, one thing that I asked myself was, why was she no interested in going to this party? Because if you don't really like Dan Summer, why you want to go party? Like, why were you even considering the fact whether or not your mother would allow you to go if you weren't interested? I thought you would have been rebellious from the first instant, the first mention of the party. You would have been like, no, I'm not going. So that was something that got me thinking. Now let's go into chapter two. I want us to pay attention to also the color coding in this. So the writer writes this almost indirect, but you have to understand Jamaican culture to get it. So in Jamaica, you have two popular political parties: one, Jamaica Labour Party, JLP, and two, PNP, People's National Party. Now, PNP is orange and JLP is green. So that is where the significance of her jacket and the marina, as well as the blouse that the older woman that was wearing earlier in the story, that's where it becomes important to know, to have a background, to have that knowledge. One could assume, or I could assume, that the Clang Gang, One Clang's gang, is affiliated with JLP, given the context in which the book is written. It's almost as though everybody in the community wears green to represent JLP. I don't know. That's just the idea that I get from the book. It might not be necessarily true, but I don't know if the author is listening to this podcast. Girl, tell me how it go. Tell me how it really go down, okay? It's chapter two, and this is where me call the party time. Okay, so Summer is getting ready to go to the party, and it's pretty early. It's like after 9, and her mom is like, "Girl, you know, hurry up and get ready for go." By the way, Sophia is the name of the neighbor next door. So Summer's mom says to her, "Sophia, daughter, go to so you two can go together." Now, hurry up and come out of the house because she ready already. So Summer quickly puts her bag together. You know, when you go out a little party, you put a little knickknacks, a little wipes, a little lip gloss, a little money. So she's putting everything in her bag and she walks out and she meets the neighbor's daughter, Sophia's daughter. Now Sophia's daughter, her name is Catalia, I believe. Let me double check because I don't want to tell nobody the wrong name. So her name is Catalia, but them call her Pinky, right? So Pinky and Summer go to this party now in the community, and they're kind of getting familiar with each other. You know, they're remember, so Summer just moved in, so this would have been her first quote unquote friend in this area since moving there. So they walked in together, and at this point, Summer is almost reluctant to go to the party. Like she no longer feels interested, I'm assuming from before. And they walk to the party, and when they get there, Summer is like, I could find one dark corner and each up in the let's find a dark corner, each up in the so. And Pinky as a girl are crazy. You really come at them party and want each up in a dark corner. You know, see, I look good. Girl is a face at a show. So Pinky she got in at the video light. Pinky she find the brightest light what she could have find at the party and stand up in underneath the light. So Summer is like, girl, man, I depend on you depending on. So Summer retracts herself and goes and find a dark corner. And then, you know, a little bit later on in the party, Summer finds back Pinky, and Pinky's like, girl, may I drink what should I drink? Campari and rum or something. She was drinking something. And she's like, you want some? So Summer pull out $500 out of her purse now for gear, for pay for the liquor. She's like, girl, you don't need that. Put that down. She's like, why? So in Summer's mind, she's picking up that maybe it's the Don who has bought all of these liquor because there's a cooler with liquor, and he just come and take up what you want. And she's almost hesitant to do it because remember, she's not really into that lifestyle. It's not something that she condones. So to take something that he would have purchased to her was almost a no-no. It's a no-no for her. But anyway, she did it. She took up a sorrel beer, I believe, and she had drink. So they go back now to where they initially were. And the liquor start get to Pinky. Mr. Pinky just a come out. Pinky a rock and a move, and Pinky a going like rebel. Pinky at Pinky a mad up the place. So Pinky look pan Summer, say, Summer girl, give me a dance now, give me a style, bust a style. I don't know what Summer do. Summer do a little swing a little rock, a little groove, a little something. And so there were some men behind them that saw Summer doing that, and them start laugh. Summer shame like a dog. You understand? So Summer turn around and say, "So what not hide for?" So one of the men responds to say, "You should have hide when you did that a while ago." So yeah. So Pinky a nudge Summer in her side and I tell her, I say, "Girl, just relax." Pinky Summer not pay no mind. So Summer turned back around to the person and say, "So why y'all watch me?" Anyways, that was that. Them turn around and them the night done for them. So Pinky's Summer is like, "Yeah, I've had enough. I'm ready to go home." So she starts leaving the party. She and Pinky are walk out now and I'm a walk go home. And as they're walking home, they hear a scream. Summer turns around. She's attempting to turn around to see like what's happening, to hear what's happening, to get a better understanding. And as soon as she's about to turn around, somebody grabs her from behind, covers her mouth, and whispers in her ear. Where did I say no? Girl. 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 What you say? On the roadside? On the roadside. And that's literally where chapter 2 ends. So let's talk about it. Let's unpack it a little bit, right? There are two things to consider. Remember her earlier interaction with Scarface in the bar? He was intimidating her and they didn't get to finish business, right? And then remember her interaction with the men behind them when she was dancing. That interaction wasn't finished as well. It was short-lived. So walking home in the dark, and we have to picture it. It's Spanish Town. The area alone is already bad. It doesn't matter where you're at. You're walking home. It's night. You can't really see. The street lights are on and off. They're flickering. You know, you're already upset because men were laughing after you for trying to enjoy yourself. You're walking home with your neighbor that you just met, and you hear somebody scream, and then somebody just grabs you up. You're wondering what's going on. Now, the question I have to ask at this point, that I asked myself at that point after completing chapter 2, is was it Scarface or was it a random guy? Was it the Don? Was it who could it have been that grabbed her up? Because there's so many options given what we know now from reaching at chapter 2. It could have been a plethora of persons. So who was it? Anyways, let's get into the final chapter. All right. She's trying to assess the situation. She's scared. She's absolutely scared. It's dark. She just moved in this community and somebody has her with her mouth covered and is whispering in her ear. So she's thinking that she's about to get SA'd and she's like, "I've read so many stories about all of this. I just didn't expect it would happen to me." And then the guy says behind her, "Apologize and I'll let you go." She says, "I'm sorry." And he says, "No, apologize in English." She says, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." And he lets her go. Right? And with that, his friends start laughing. With that, now we can gather that it's the group of boys that would have been in the party with them. Right? So the men start laughing and she kisses her teeth and them a walk off. She and Pinky a walk off. And Pinky a tell her, say, "Girl, you know who that? At the dance son. You have to be careful of what you do and thing. Just act like you like him and all of that." And they're walking home. So when he lets go of her and she's attempting to walk off, she turns around and tries to slap him. And then he grabs her hand, stops her before she slaps him, and he says, "Mind what you do," in such a cold tone. Before he was almost jovial. He was very jovial in saying, like, "Apologize and I'll let you go." He was joking about it. But then when he got to a point where she almost slapped him, he said, "Watch what you do." That happens, right? And they're walking home. And as Pinky and Summer walk home, Summer realized that the man them still behind her. And she don't like that them a follow them go home. So Summer is like, oh, what am I follow with first? So she says it under her breath to Pinky. And one of the boys in the back say that again? What you just say? So they get home and Pinky is back there having conversations with the group of boys, and the Don's son walks up to Summer and he's like, okay, so the Don's son is there and Pinky is having a conversation with the other guys, right? And then the Don's son walks out from that kind of segment there, so, and he's walking a little bit closer to Summer. And this is where she's realizing him. She's assessing his features. He's under the stoplight and she sees that he's dark skinned. He's perfect. He has abs. The man look good. He's tall. He has neck length hair. Like he looks ridiculously sexy. Like the man is beautiful in all his glory. Like he's really stunning. And so he realizes that Summer is looking at him and he must say, yo, how are you a preemie so far? You like me? She kisses her teeth and she walks off, right? So he asks, what wrong with you? And she still not answer. She goes over and she's walking and then she feels someone pull on one of her forelocks. And she continues to walk away because this is Don that does that, right? And he's like, Summer, and she turns around and she just said later, right? She goes into the house and she's just thinking about what happened, and then she's like, you know what, it's pretty late, I have chores to do, so let me just start doing them from now. I'm going to read an excerpt from the book. I'm going to read the end of the chapter because I think it does more than me telling you guys. So right, so I'm going to start from the part where she's walking in and the Don is there. It says, what's wrong with you? He says. Do I look like something is wrong with me? I responded. We approach my gate. Summer, later, Pinky says as she pushes her gate open. So you're not going to tell me later too? One of the boys asks her. I can see her small smile, even though the light is not bright. They're both smiling at each other. Later, everybody, she says and goes inside. I attempt to go inside. So you're not going to tell me thanks? The Don's son asks. For what? Slamming my face in the fence and almost breaking my hands? He moves forward to the gate and I quickly close it and stand behind it. I hear his friends laugh and one says, really, bro? I feel something pull my forelocks and I look above me. He's on top of the fence smiling at me. I roll my eyes. I'm sorry if I hurt you, he says. Instead of responding, I walk towards my front door. Summer? When I don't respond, he calls me again. What? I whisper loudly. Later, he says. Let me go to the next part. I hear some commotion out in the lane. As soon as I hear the word done, I go inside. I have decided to stay out of these people way. Me no go for them pathway, them no fi come my pathway. I step under the running shower after removing my clothes. The water relaxes my tender muscles as it cascades over my body. Looking at my chest, I sigh. Most girls my age have full breasts, while I'm stuck with these things. Them look like mock up on my chest. After spending more than 20 minutes showering, I decided to eat breakfast, plantain porridge with an egg sandwich. I'm eating in my room when I hear Pinky outside. Summer! I made my way to the veranda. Pushing my eyebrows in confusion, I ask, oh, what happened? Pinky enters and sits on the walls of the veranda. We're going to watch ball game later. No, we're not, I say. Yes, we are. Plus, the Don and imposters them are going to be there. All the more reason for me to stay at home. Me avoid them people. Girl, you have to blend in. You have to act like you like him. Because if you don't, the man them will come for you, you know. That's just a part of the book. That's just a part of chapter 3. I felt like you guys should hear. Alright, guys, so that's it for She Love Badman. Again, this book is written by Abby44 underscore. And I just want to give an overall review of the book, like a recommendation, my thoughts, all of that. First thing first, I love when the books are Jamaican based. I really do. I really have a unique appreciation for them in that capacity because it's so real, it's so raw, and using patois and using it really well. Sometimes when writers write things, authors do things, it's really hard to read things in patois. But this author, Abby, you did an excellent job in really putting the patois out there in a way that it's digestible. I really appreciate that. As well as, again, the patois dictionary, it's a plus, it's a bonus. I have to give you that. The fact that this book has 78 chapters, I think, is beautiful, girl. You wrote 78 beautifully written chapters. I am so proud of you for doing that. My light died. We're not paying that no mind. As well as I think the book was very creative. It is very creative. I love the angle of the book. Now there are a few things I'm a little bit like uh there's some minor spelling issues in chapter 1 and a little bit in chapter 3, but other than that it's okay. um I think we're at chapter 3 in the book and we still don't know the name of the Don. We don't know the name of the Don's son. While I would have read this book in its entirety, I know the backstory to this. But I'm wondering, is it deliberate that the author did not tell us the name of the Don or the Don's son at that point in the book? I mean, we're 3 chapters in and we still don't have a name to address him by. We just call him the Don's son. I don't know. I would have preferred to have a name for him. Outside of that, beautiful book. Love it. 10 out of 10. Definitely would recommend. So, with that being said, this culminates the first episode of Wet Fiction. I'm your girl Rush Wavy, and I do hope you enjoyed this story. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. And if there's any book that you would recommend I should read, don't forget to drop them in the comment section or DM me on TikTok at Rush Wavy or on Instagram at wavy_gal. Bye.